But if you had five goals, you notice you probably only achieved two, or perhaps three. Possibly, other persons they have noticed that you have more to give. You can actually do better, or you can produce more. In reflective practice, the goal of the practitioner is to help the client to recognize that the client needs to change. But the practitioner does not force change on the client. If that is done, the client generally may take some initial steps, if at all, but it will eventually stop. So the question is, could we use this principle to look at our lives and see if there's need for personal development? Well, reflection is indeed a tool to help us with that. So the first question we probably can ask ourselves is, why do we think we need to develop? Why do we think we need personal development? Well, you might be looking at yourself and reminding yourself of some of the goals you may have initially have, and you notice that you have not achieved them. Maybe one or two you did, but if you had five goals, you notice you probably only achieved two, or perhaps three, but the other two goals, they just vanish. And not that you did not want to achieve them because you had all intention to do so, but it just did not happen. Over time, it just dwindled. Or possibly other persons they have noticed that you have more to give and therefore they're encouraging you because they note that you can actually do better, or you can produce more, or you can use your talent in such a way that can benefit others. So you may have had persons encouraging you, saying, hey, you know what, I think you can do better, you could improve, you can use your talent or your technique to help other persons. Maybe that was it. Perhaps you notice that you can live a more meaningful life. So you of yourself, for a little while now, you're probably thinking about it, you're going it over in your mind and you're saying, you know what, I could actually live better. Maybe you have found yourself engaging in some kind of behavioral addiction, like just aimlessly scrolling on social media, or probably just looking at a lot of movies, binge watching movie series after series, and not that you don't enjoy it. And of course, relaxation or entertainment is necessary at times. However, you for yourself notice that you're kind of spending quite a bit of hours every day. So it's not just on weekends you take some time off for yourself, but you notice that every day you're playing a lot of video games when you should be probably studying for school. Or you're looking at a lot of movies way into the morning when on a weekday you should probably be asleep to get enough rest so that the following day you can go to work feeling refreshed and be able to produce 100% on your job. So you for yourself recognize that you need to develop personally. Maybe you have come to a rut, or you have noticed that you just plateau off. You're no longer making progress. You just stuck, as it were, in one particular place. Well, this discussion will help you to have some tips that you can use that can get you out of that situation, and as a result help you to develop or help you to engage once more in your personal growth. So let's look at the first tip that can help you. Keeping in mind, reflective practice is important. You have to be a reflective person. A matter of fact, it is probably less than 1%. If you don't reflect, then you will not be able to achieve. If you don't reflect, you will not be able to personally develop. So reflection is important. And if you don't reflect, then you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. Probably might it just happen, and 1% of the time it just happens and you're okay. But you have to put in the work of reflecting on what you really want to achieve. But it's simple. And why do I say that? Well, Write down where you are right now in life. Where are you right now in life? Just write it down. Is it that that is what or where you are right now in life is where you always wanted to be? Or maybe you wanted to be somewhere else. Not necessarily physically somewhere else, but in terms of your career, your education, your job, maybe your spiritual life, you wanted to be somewhere else, but you notice that you're not there. Maybe where you are right now, you have been for quite some time. You look at others and you notice that you do have the ability, you do have the talent, you do have the opportunity to progress, but others progress that have the same circumstances like you, but you are just in one place feeling stuck. So write down where you are right now, and the next thing you can do is to ask yourself the question, what are a few things that you want to achieve? So maybe you need to reevaluate. Probably some of the things you want to achieve, you had it there before. Maybe there are new things you want to achieve. So you write those things down. Another thing you can ask yourself is what changed? What changed in your life that you are no longer feeling either motivated or you no longer have processes in place in order to make those necessary steps towards your goal? What changed? Is it that your job changed where you live? You living somewhere else? Is it that your habits changed? Your friends, those who you associate with, is it that change? Well, you need to reflect on all of those things because that is what will help you to recognize where the issue is and therefore put you in a position where you can work on yourself to develop. You can ask yourself, or you should ask yourself, another question. What are some steps that will get you back on track? So you write it down. What are some steps? If the goal is to lose weight, or the goal is to get an A grade, or if the goal is to do the very best you can at your job, or maybe to work towards a promotion or increase in salary, whatever it may be, you write down what are the possible steps to get there and be specific, because when we are abstract, sometimes that is where the challenge is. We are too vague, and therefore we are not certain when we are at a specific point what to do next. And if we are not certain of what to do next when we are at a specific point, then we may not know if to change, modify, or what to do next. And therefore our goals may just vanish. And the final thing we can do is ask ourselves, who can you look to for coaching or to be a mentor? Who can you use as a mentor to yourself? And sometimes we don't necessarily have to go very far. It's someone maybe in our workplace, in school, or possibly it's someone that we follow online who are actually contributing in a significant way to helping us to develop ourselves. So maybe it's a personality that gives some really great advice online, and you can follow them and try to understand how they live their lives, some of the things that they do in order to personally develop. So you can use coaches or mentors even though you're not close to them and they may not even know who you are, but you follow their work, and as a result, you are seeing progress in your life. So, reflection is important. Write things down and think deeply about what it is you want to achieve. And once you can do that, it puts you in a really good position, a really good place where you can now develop on yourself, develop on who you are, and develop on your abilities. So, that's all for today. I'm Malik Delancey. Take care.